everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a little special because I'm starting a new little series, which is me recapping different things from my brain only, aka I took some notes, which I'm just going off of now, when I just read the description as was in the intro, which literally only made these videos simply because I wanted to do the intro. And I think that's totally socially acceptable. So up here we have episode 1 of Star Wars, which I am going the prequels first because that's the chronological order of the plot. That's what made sense in my head, so that's what we're rolling with. Episode 1 starts off with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, who are both Jedis. They are sent to see Queen Amidala of Naboo, who is also Miss Padme. They're the same person. She has different Quidditch attire because they want to go negotiate with the Senate. Fun. On the way there, though, their ship is broken, so they have to stop in Tatooine, and they are in this repair shop, and they meet this little boy who is a slave. He's in slavery, which is problematic, but whatever. Upon meeting, he immediately falls in love with Padme, and he is 9 years old, and she is 14 at the time. So she does not appreciate these feelings at all. Qui-Gon immediately recognizes that he has the Force in him, and so he asks his mom about it, and apparently she was impregnated with the Force. Interesting. But so yeah, he's like the Jesus of Star Wars. This is where Star Wars morphs into just fan fiction of the Bible. And along with this force power that is apparently 40,000 or something like that. It's a number that he has. He is apparently the chosen one, aka he has a prophecy like Taylor Swift's song that he'll destroy the Sith and bring balance to the Force. So that's all up to little boy Anakin. But he doesn't know the full extent of this because he lives as a slave on Tatooine. He is not well versed in the Jedi lore, if you will. They do not have money to fix their ship. Anakin says, "Oh yeah, I can get money for you by racing in a pilot race that they have." Important detail that he excluded from them is that he never finished a race. He's never technically lost one, but he's never finished one. Miraculously, he wins. And that's when they take Anakin on their ship with them to go back to a underwater place of some sort. I don't know. And that's where Jar Jar Binks, love Jar Jar Binks because Misa, love. His people are having a war with the Roger Roger droid. I had no reason to print out a Roger Roger droid. I just love Roger Roger droid. They're so silly. They're so funny. They also are very annoying in Lego Star Wars because you will just be running around doing normal stuff. And then suddenly from the distance, without even knowing that they're near you, you'll just hear Roger Roger from across the freaking abyss that you can't even, and they shoot you across the abyss that you can't reach them from. Don't love that, but it's okay. While they're having this war, Anakin finds a ship and then flies it and then accidentally does something good. He does it by chance. He doesn't mean to help them, but I think he succeeds some sort. Also, Jar Jar is off with a gun and I think he accidentally does something good as well. But while this is happening, so they're off doing war, whatever. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan go to fight Darth Maul, who I was covering up this whole time with my shadow, but it's fine. He doesn't matter that much because he's evil. He's part of the Sith, so they go to fight him. And while they're fighting him, Darth Maul kills Qui-Gon. Rip, he was an icon. But Obi-Wan sees this happen, so he's kind of traumatized, not gonna lie. And then at the end of the movie, Padme gives a medal to Obi-Wan because of his bravery. And that's the entire movie. Now on the wall, we have episode 2. Most of the same characters, some new ones, and also I got new pictures for Padme, Anakin, and Obi-Wan because they look different now, aka Anakin is no longer 9 years old, he's now 19. It's a little bit of a time jump to say the least. Padme is no longer queen, she's now just a senator. Her term was up, She still has a decoy as a senator, so that's why her queen persona is still up there because it's just her decoy for being a senator. Fun fact, is played by Keira Knightley. This movie opens with them traveling and Keira Knightley as Padme's decoy dies. Very much dead. So rip to Keira Knightley. And I love how they cast Keira Knightley because Natalie Portman and Keira Knightley look almost identical. They could be twins. No argument there. They just look so similar that it's so funny that they cast them. Anakin is now a Jedi Padawan, aka he is getting mentored by Obi-Wan, and that's what Obi-Wan was in the first movie under Qui-Gon. But now Anakin is under Obi-Wan. So Obi-Wan's in his mentor era. Love that for him. The reason that Padme's decoy gets killed is because there's constant assassination attempts against Padme. This girl can never catch a break for real. Because of this, Obi-Wan and Anakin are sent to go protect her because people are constantly trying to kill her. This evolves into one night she gets nearly assassinated, and it's by these drone things. And so Obi-Wan leaves to go follow the droid things, so Anakin is just left to protect her, which causes some issues, but we'll get to that. I'm just gonna run through Obi-Wan's plot because basically the way that this movie is structured is it jumps between Anakin and Padme to Obi-Wan. we're just running through Obi-Wan's whole thing because it's kind of boring. So he is trying to follow and find out who is trying to kill Padme. And so he a chase between like flying cars after he found the drone thing. Like the bugs were trying to eat her. I don't know. Something tried to kill her and he followed it. That's what matters. And then Obi-Wan goes on like a whole journey to find like this planet that apparently the files were erased from it in like the Jedi database, and he like follows to this planet and he finds a clone army, which I didn't get the photos for it. My bad. But they're just an army of clones. When Obi-Wan gets there, they like think he's like the guy who commissioned them, so he gets in there without like any trouble. Also, Jango Fett is there. I forgot to get a picture of Jango Fett. I'm so sorry to Jango Fett that he did not just reply. I just forgot one. While he's here, Obi-Wan finds out that an old Jedi commissioned the clone army, and then he gets captured, which is not very good. But jumping back to like a while back from when this happened is Anakin and Padme's plot, aka Anakin is like head over heels in love with Padme, and it's getting near creepy levels. Like he is constantly hitting on her and she's like, no, we're not doing that. And then he's like, no, why not? So he's being annoying. Moral of the story, Padme does low-key reject him, and then he gets all like pissy about it. I don't know. Try like being a grown adult. He's just a pissy baby this movie, actually. Like, but I will say Hayden Christensen looks very good in this movie. So it's kind of hard to be mad at Anakin because he's really hot. But while this is going on, Anakin is having like nightmares about his mother dying. And so he feels inspired to go back to his home village in Tatooine. And she is indeed dead. That's not very good. That's because she was left in slavery in the first movie. I forgot to mention that. They left her in slavery when Anakin got to escape to go be a Jedi. So it's kind of messed up. In response to his mother dying, he then massacres an entire village full of women and children. I mean, to each their own, I guess. Also, Padme goes with him to go check on his mom. So she was like in the next few towns over when he just massacred a whole village. And then he came back and was like, so I actually killed all of the women and children. And she goes, oh, okay. To each their own, I guess. Because Obi-Wan has been gone for like a while now, they follow him and also get captured because they're just not very smart. And this is when suddenly Padme rejecting him just kind of like flip-flops. You know, when they get captured, they're in like a coliseum with Obi-Wan, as in like they bring out these big like animals to like kill them. So like a coliseum, and they're like tied to these pillars, and then they're all tied to these pillars and like something is coming at them. Obi-Wan is talking to Anakin about like doing something, and then he goes, oh, what about Padme? And then Obi-Wan just goes, she seems to be on top of things, as she's climbing the pillar to the very top.
What about Padme? She seems to be on top of things.
I remember certain things about these movies, and it's mostly only quotes from like the prequels at least. I know a lot of quotes from the prequels, and that's because they're all very iconic because they don't make sense. No one would talk that way, but I think it's funny. Important detail, while in the Coliseum, aka they're riding a big animal thing to get away from the other things that are trying to kill them, Anakin and Padme kiss. Weird behavior. Oh my god, completely forgot to mention that also on the Senate is Palpatine. He'll come in later, as in like next movie later, but like just know that he's here and he's on the Senate. Also, Jar Jar Binks is in this movie. What he's doing, I'm not very sure, but I know he's in it and he's doing something. He might also be on the Senate, but not like on the Senate, like with Padme kind of on the Senate. The Roger droids are here because they're in like every movie. I don't know what they're doing. They're just being Roger droids. While in the Coliseum, when they're like fighting each other off, all the Jedi show up, including Mace Windu, aka Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know why he's here, but all the Jedi are here fighting. But then they're low-key losing, like really badly. And then Yoda brings in the clone army and they win because they have the clone army. So that's why the clone army, I had to bring them up. And then Anakin and Obi-Wan and Yoda all go to fight the evil guy of this movie, aka Count Dooku, aka in my notes, Count Dookie. So he is Dookie in my brain. Count Dookie. So he's evil for some reason. I don't know why. So they are fighting him, and then Anakin gets his arm chopped off, shoulder clean cut. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. And then Yoda is like jumping up and down and like being really fast with his lightsaber. That's all I know. He ends up getting away. So the Anakin kind of lost his arm for nothing. Also, he gets a robotic arm. So he has that, in which fun. And now a turnaround of the freaking movie is that Anakin and Padme get married at the end. What happened to stand strong? Like, you were rejecting him all movie. Continue doing that. He's being a pissy baby. So they get married. But Jedis aren't supposed to be in love, which we'll explore next movie. So like, problematic. Welcome to episode 3, aka the best prequel. No arguments there. Not much has changed from the past one, aka Padme's the same. Anakin got a new picture. That's because this is the best Hayden Christensen movie ever. He looks so good. Okay, the first thing in my notes for this one is Anakin is in his hot era. Because he is. He's so baby girl in this movie. And then down here we have a villain in this movie. There's multiple. But everyone else, the same. Also, what is Jar Jar doing in this movie? That's a great question. I just didn't want to take them off. And what are the Roger droids doing in this movie? I don't know. That's not my problem. So Anakin is a Jedi Knight in this movie compared to the Padawan that he was last movie. Obi-Wan is the same level of Jedi, I do believe. This movie opens with Anakin and Obi-Wan in like flying cars or something like that. Also, a lot of stuff happens in the movie, so it's probably all out of order in my notes, but that's just because I wrote my notes in order of what I remembered from the movie. So the ending, I think, is in order. There's at least that. Right now, the Senate is like kind of in shambles. So that's not good. So Padme's not very happy. And also, fun little detail, not fun because it causes some problems. Padme is currently pregnant with Anakin's baby. That raises some issues, aka it causes Anakin to have like a downward spiral. But we'll get there eventually. First order of business is that Anakin is sent to rescue Palpatine because he was apparently kidnapped. Emperor Palpatine, while he's there, like he wasn't really kidnapped, low key. While he's there, Palpatine is trying to have Anakin kill Dookie, because Dookie's evil. So he's like, yo, you should kill him. Anakin is like, it's not like the Jedi way. So Anakin is like really fighting against that because basically Palpatine wants him to turn to the dark side. So he's trying to make him lose his Jedi ways, if you will. While this is happening, Anakin's also kind of a mental struggle with the Jedi because he's not very happy about what they're doing right now. Because at the end of the day, Anakin is a pissy baby and he wants his way, and the Jedi is not very much sporting his way right now. Currently, Anakin is in the Jedi Council, but they won't upgrade him to like Jedi Master, because he's kind of immature. Which I can't argue with that. But they are kind of being a bitch about it, if that makes sense. Like, they're being very mean about it. And he's also extra mad because Obi-Wan gets sent on a mission that he wanted, and that's to go fight General Grievous down here. I didn't write this in my notes at all. I'm surprised I didn't, because Obi-Wan, that's where he is basically this whole movie. Obi-Wan does kind of jack shit except for fight General Grievous, which General Grievous is really cool. He can hold 4 lightsabers. That's so awesome. What this fight is, that's a great question. What it's for, that's a great question. I don't know. Anakin is mad about this because he wanted the mission, and he also isn't Jedi Master, so he's very mad. Also, while this is happening, since Padme is pregnant, Anakin keeps having prophetic dreams that she's going to die during childbirth. So now he's really freaked out about keeping Padme alive. While this is happening, Anakin finds out that Palpatine, good old Palpatine, is a Sith Lord. So that's so fun. He's like dark side, like top ranks we're talking about. So he tells the Jedi Council this because it's good information to know. And the Jedi Council says, okay, we'll have that in the back of our minds. After he tells the Jedi Council that Palpatine is a Sith Lord, he has like a mental breaking point, and then he goes to go slaughter a bunch of Jedi children. As in all of them. This is the second time that he slaughtered a bunch of children. I think we should look into that. Good for him, I guess. And then he comes back to the Jedi Council room to see Mace Windu practically about to kill Palpatine. And then he's like, whoa, you never gave Palpatine a trial. That's not the Jedi way. And Mace Windu is like, he's literally a Sith Lord. Like, what the heck? And so Anakin's like, that's not the Jedi way, though.
It's not the Jedi way. You must live.
Wait, this might be before he slaughters a bunch of children. That would make sense. I don't know the order. Sue me. All I know is that Anakin has breaking point and slaughters a bunch of children. I don't know when it happens, but it happens. And this also happens. AKA, when Anakin is distracting Mace Windu, Palpatine kind of goes wild and throws him out a window, and so he dies. Mace Windu is dead. Problematic to say the least. So bye-bye Samuel L. Jackson, you were well up. Through this fight, Palpatine gets a little fucked up. We'll just say that. So he is entering a new persona, right? New Palpatine era, everyone. He's now wrinkly and old and ugly. Also, I forgot to take Dookie off. Anakin killed him. I don't know if I said that, but he did. Oops, sorry. Also, I think General Grievous gets defeated. That would make sense with the whole plot of the freaking movie, is that Obi-Wan has to go look for him and kill him. The reason that Anakin is now very like, oh my god, I'm going to turn to the dark side, is because he wants to protect Padme. The only way that he thinks he can do this is to like take over the whole world, I guess. I don't know. Because basically his thought is like, we'll rule the Republic together because it's so corrupt. Palpatine said some shit that made him believe that this would protect Padme. I don't know. Master manipulator. The Palpatine is. That's literally his whole shtick. After this, Palpatine, after his almost near-death experience, he orders all the Jedi to be killed. So they all get killed except for Obi-Wan and Yoda. I believe so. Anyway, Anakin is low-key going crazy at this point. He's by some like lava place or whatever, and Padme comes to talk to him to like talk some sense into him because he's actually mentally insane. When they're just chatting about how he wants to take over the Republic and have like a dictatorship, Obi-Wan comes up because he came with Padme, and so Anakin gets really mad because he's like, oh, you brought him here to like, I don't know, talk some sense into me. And so he gets mad because Obi-Wan is there, and then chokes out Padme with the Force, and then she passes out. I like to mention that she's very pregnant at this point. He was going to kill his pregnant wife. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. After that, Anakin and Obi-Wan have a little like lightsaber fight because they have some history, okay? And then this is where my quote knowledge from this movie, I wish I could add this whole scene in because it is Absolutely. I love this scene so much. Me and my sister will quote this relentlessly.
I have brought peace, freedom, justice, and security to my new empire.
Your new empire?
Don't make me kill you.
Anakin, my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy!
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
You could not catch a time where we're not quoting the scene if we hear one of the words in it. The one I wrote down here in my notes is, "It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground."
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
Right when he says that, he does indeed have the high ground, and so he low-key chops Anakin's legs off because Anakin refuses to like relent on his dark side shenanigans, if you will. Also, I'd like to mention that he chops off his other arm, like his not robot one. So now he's armless and legless. No limbs. Anakin lost all his limbs. And then he also like falls in lava, so he gets burned. He's not living in any capacity. Then Obi-Wan goes to help Padme because she's very pregnant and about to give birth. I'd like to point out, while Padme is #giving birth, which she does like wake up. She just passes out. She doesn't die, obviously. But while she's giving birth, Palpatine goes to find Anakin and his half-burnt body and then takes him to revive him, which I don't know what robotic technology they had to bring that man back. After Padme gives birth to twins, shout out, she loses her will to live even though she just gave birth to 2 children, which like I can't comment on that. I've never had children, so I can't say if she wanted to live for her children. I don't know. She's also very weak because her husband choked her out. I guess she knew that her husband would not help her raise these children, so there's always that. While she is losing her will to live, aka she like takes her last breath, while Anakin as Darth Vader takes his like first breath as a, like his robot body, and he has the fuck ass mask where he sounds like the Darth Vader sound, if you will. And then immediately when he like wakes up as like in robot body, he asks where Padme is, and then Palpatine immediately tells him that he killed her. Which like, did he? Yes. And then he does this like fuck ass cheesy thing where he like holds out his arm and says like no. We love the prequels because they're so silly. Like they scripted that and said yes. Also, before Padme loses her will to live, she names the children Leia and Luke. That'll come back later. And Obi-Wan is in charge of like giving these children homes because it's not like he can take care of them. And Padme is dead, and Anakin is off being Darth Vader. So there's not much we can do. He gives Leia to like a senator of some sort. He has like a high standing in society. I don't know. And Luke goes to Anakin's step brother and his wife. So there's that. And then Obi-Wan is sent on a mission to go live in a cave and learn how to talk to the dead people in the Force. In the Force, he can talk to the people that have died who are Jedis. So he goes to talk to Qui-Gon, which is cute. Love them. The Jedi Master and Padawan relationship that like Anakin and Obi-Wan could have had really says something. And that's the entirety of episode 3. So where we stand is that Padme is dead, ripped to her. She slayed every moment she was there. Anakin is now Darth Vader and under the control of Palpatine, and I don't know what Jar Jar Binks or the Roger Rogers were doing. I don't know. Nor do I care, to be honest. General Grievous was probably defeated. Let's be real. And Obi-Wan is in a cave learning to talk to dead people. Love. And now we get into the original trilogy. Episode 4, 5, and 6, baby. The movies from the 70s, they're just really slow, and so I don't remember like a lot of the plot points or like how we get there. There's just a lot of jumping around. They're even worse than these. Hello, and we are back for episode 4, A New Hope. I don't think I said the titles for the last movies, but now we're in the original trilogy. On the playing field, we have Leia. She's a princess. Luke, who's a farm boy. Han Solo, who's a bounty hunter. That sounds right in my head. Chewbacca, who works with Han Solo. And then this is Darth Vader, who we know, and his like soldiers are called stormtroopers, and they're really stupid, but we'll get to that. Also, sorry if you can hear my dog barking outside. He's telling his piece to the world, I guess. So as I said, Luke is a farmer, so he is doing the farming life, living in his little hut and farming, and then he's going to buy droids from like a droid trade. So they're like slaves, if you will, but they're just like robots. So he buys CP3O and R2D2, who some bullshit in the prequels was like, oh yeah, Anakin made CP3O. It doesn't matter, just keep them, I guess, if you want to know that. When he gets R2D2, it ends up playing a message which has Princess Leia talking to, wait, where's Obi-Wan? Sorry, JK, I was missing a person. Obi-Wan fell off. I didn't even notice, but he's important. That's old Obi-Wan. So R2 plays a message from Leia that's supposed to be to Obi-Wan, and it's basically saying, like, we need your help with, like, saving us or something like that. Because Luke hears this message, he then goes on a journey to find Obi-Wan, and he finds him in, like, some cave where he went hide out and, like, talk to people from the dead Force, you know. When they meet, Obi-Wan basically lore dumps to Luke about how his father was actually in the Force and then he died. Important for later. Because of this, he tells Luke that he has the Force, but he's not trained, so he's like not aware of it, if that makes sense. And Luke is very hesitant because he's just a little farm boy, you know, like that's all he had in his life. And then they have to go on a mission, I assume, to save Leia. I assume that's like their goal, I guess. And they bring the droids, and then Luke doesn't want to go because he just wants to like farm. But Obi-Wan makes him go. They go and they find Han Solo and Chewie, and they take their ship, which is the Millennium Falcon, the iconic ship in itself. It's also very broken, and so like the hydro speed, which is like how they go through the galaxy faster, that's broken. It's like constantly broken throughout the whole movie. They go to save Leia simply because she's being held captive by Darth Vader, because they're trying to torture the information out of like where the rebel base is, because she was in charge of it, and she's like, no, I will not tell you. And so they blow up her home planet because she doesn't tell them where it is. Awkward. Then she gets saved by the whole group, and then they end up stuck in a trash compactor, and like all the walls are like caving in, but don't worry about it because they get out miraculously, and they don't show us how they get out. Darth Vader is the one who kidnapped her, obviously, because he wanted to know the location of the rebel base, because the rebels are against him, because he is the like token of the dark side. He is off doing evil stuff in his own little ship, and then which is the Death Star, the infamous Death Star. And then him and Obi-Wan fight because like they got history, you know. And Obi-Wan dies. I think he like wills himself out of existence. Like he doesn't even get like stabbed. He just like dies suddenly. They want to blow up the Death Star, so they like make a mission for like a bunch of pilots to go in and like shoot it and like find the inside of it. And basically they were like trying to find some blueprints for the Death Star to like find its weakness, and like the weakness was the middle. So they're trying to get someone to shoot inside the middle of the Death Star to blow it up. And Luke ends up doing it because he's the main character. Did he fly before this? And that's where the movie ends. I do move my camera up because we got so many new characters. This movie starts off with them in hiding because they are at the rebel base. It's on this like snow planet. Luke is like out there just like, I don't even know what he's doing. He's just like running around the ice planet. I don't know what he's doing. He basically gets his shit rocked by the abominable snowman. And so this was because Mark Hamill, who plays Luke, like got in like a car accident, I think it was, and his face got messed up because of it. So they just wrote in a reason why his face would look different. So he got his shit rocked by the abominable snowman, got like was passed out and everything. And then he uses the Force to escape, and like Han goes out to get him because he like almost dies of frostbite out there. And the problem is that the dark side finds them at the rebel base, and so they have to fight these big walkie thingies. I think they're called like Imperial walkers. They're just like big things with like legs. And Luke, when his near-death experience, when he almost dies from frostbite, he gets a vision from the Force Obi-Wan. So like he's dead in the Force, and he speaks to Luke through the Force and like tells him to train with Yoda, which Yoda is up here, except he looks different because he's a puppet in these movies because they're older. He's not CGI in these, so he looks a little bit spooky. You can't really see him that close up, but like I can see him right now, and he's scaring me a little bit. So Luke leaves to go train with Yoda. He literally just dips in. He's like, okay, I gotta go get something done. Actually, I forgot to mention this, but last movie, which is kind of important, but whatever. Luke and Leia had like flirty vibes going, which because they don't know the event of the prequels. We know that these two are siblings, but they don't. Yeah, they had flirty vibes, and they definitely kissed last movie, at least once probably. The thing is, they were trying to set up like a little love triangle between Han, Leia, and Luke, because Han and Leia are literally in love, like enemies to lovers for real. But they're both in denial about it, as in like Han is kind of the cocky like asshole kind of like, he's like, oh, you're definitely in love with me, because who wouldn't be? That's a hot man right there. When they are like flying away from the rebel base and like going into hiding again, they indeed do kiss. Han and Leia kiss, so slay for them. And then they dock the Millennium Falcon in like what they think is a cave, and it turns out to be an alive like sandworm. Scarring. I would hate that. Oh my god. And they have the droids with them, by the way. Literally, he's off on a solo mission. So everyone else in the gang is on the Millennium Falcon. Because of the rendezvous inside of an alive worm, their Millennium Falcon kind of gets more fucked than it even was before. So they go to visit Han's friend, Lando. Little do they know that Lando actually had a deal with Darth Vader to keep his like city safe, because he's like the leader of the city. So Darth Vader actually comes to like kidnap them. Darth Vader thinks that Luke is with them, but he's not. He's actually off with Yoda. So yeah, Darth Vader shows up at the city they're at, which they thought was safe, but is now not, obviously. And he's just doing his evil shit as normal. So while Luke is training with Yoda, he gets a force feeling, mental thing, that Han and Leia are in trouble. And so he's like, I gotta go, like, help them. And then Yoda's like, are you gonna ruin, like, your Jedi training to go help your friends? And he's like, Yes. Short answer, yes, I will be doing that. So Luke leaves and Yoda's like disappointed in him. And also this whole time, Luke is literally like doing like random trials to like test his Jedi powers. Like using the force on like this big ship in the water or something. It's boring. Boring plot. Before Luke gets there, Darth Vader manages to completely encase Han in carbon, which like he's alive and breathing in there, but he's just like stuck. It's kind of like cryo freezing, you know, like that, but it's in carbon, like carbonite or something like that. They only do this because Han is a bounty hunter. He is being hunted by Jabba the Hutt. He like wants money, so he wants Han, I do believe, or he just like I think he just actually has a vendetta with Han, so he just wants Han. So Darth Vader encases him in carbon and gives him to Jabba the Hutt because he's like wanted. Before he's encased in carbon, Leia says that she loves him, which is so cute. And then his response is, "I know, okay, douchebag. Literally, love you guys, but what the fuck?" And Luke is there for blood. He's like, "I'm gonna kill Darth Vader." Yes, okay, eat, I guess. And he low-key fails because he's not completely Jedi trained, and Darth Vader is obviously. So he low-key fails and ends up getting his arm chopped off. Problematic, but like unlike Anakin when he literally got like shoulder down chopped off, it's just like the bottom half of his arm. So like here. Also, major breakthrough. Darth Vader drops the lore that he is indeed Luke's father, which we all knew that he was Anakin Skywalker, but Luke did not. Also, I forgot to mention that Luke's last name is Skywalker. But you should have known by the fact that I said Luke and Leia. Like, same difference. That's kind of a culture shock for Luke because he thought his father was like an actual like good Jedi that died. In reality, he was a Jedi that turned evil. Darth Vader offers Luke to like join him in his cause to end up killing Palpatine, who I forgot to put up his photo. Oopsies. Basically, Palpatine is still controlling Anakin, aka Darth Vader. So he's like still like the Sith Lord, if you will. So he's like still controlling him. He's like the Emperor. Darth Vader wants to kill him, but like he can't because the dark side is so strong. He like wants to kill him, so he wants Luke to join him to kill him, and then they can rule the galaxy together. Okay, Luke says obviously because he's a good Jedi now, and because of this, like Darth Vader like pushes him off of the ship, and he's hanging off of his one remaining hand with like off of the bottom of the ship, and then the Millennium Falcon like comes underneath him and he jumps in. And Han is still in carbon and like not with them. That's not fun. Then he gets a robot hand, which like looks like a human hand. I'd like to point out, but it like is a robot hand. I think him and Leia might kiss again. No, they kiss at the beginning of the movie after he gets his shit rocked by the abominable snowman. He's in the infirmary and they kiss because Leia wants to make Han jealous. Also, he does not share the info that Darth Vader is his father. And that's all of episode 5. And also, the whole time the droids are like doing like dumb shit because they're the comic relief characters. So I don't remember their plots simply because like I don't really like those plots. They're just kind of like boring. I don't really care about them. Okay, we got a lot of people up for this movie. Episode 6, we got the final one. First order of business is they're saving Han, who is still in like carbonite or whatever. They're getting him from Jabba since Darth Vader gave him to Jabba last movie. And they like sneak in at night. Leia, who's in like disguise, unfreezes him, and then he's like in shock because he was in carbonite and like going crazy, I guess. And then they like kiss. The problem with this plan of like them sneaking in, it just like didn't work at all because they were like low-key dumbasses, and so they get caught and Leia gets enslaved by Jabba, which is not fun, as in she's like on a chain connected to him. Also with this plan is that Luke sent the droids in to like be servants to Jabba. I don't know what this accomplished. I don't know what his plan was here. Since Han is now unfrozen but still in captivity, Chewie's also there, so Han and Chewie are sent like into like a Colosseum-esque thing to get eaten by like this big blizzard or something. Luke is with Lando and they're going in on like a ship to like fight everyone to get Han out of there, as long with everyone else, obviously. And probably the most monumental thing that happens here is that Leia kills Jabba single-handedly by using the chain that she's connected to with, by choking him out with the chain. That's queen shit right there. We love her. After this, Luke is like, okay, my job is done. I'm gonna go back to Yoda to finish my training. And then like immediately after he gets there, Yoda freaking dies. So Yoda's now gone. Yoda tells him that there's another Skywalker. Luke comes back to all of the gang being on like a Wookiee island, and they're only like not being attacked on this island is because the Wookiees think that C-P3O is like a god. By Yoda telling him that there's another Skywalker, Luke immediately realizes that Leia is his sister. I guess the Force. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. I guess the Force. So he tells Leia that they are siblings. After that, Leia's like going through mental breakdown because she realized that her second love interest was literally her brother. And Han comes out and he's like, oh, like what's wrong? Like what's up with Luke? Very suspicious about their relationship. And she's like, oh, don't worry about it. Maybe he should worry about it because that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. Also, there's a new Death Star because like Emperor Palpatine like made a new one or something. I don't know. Oopsies, I didn't have Emperor Palpatine up there. In my defense, I don't like looking at him. I traded him out for Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan his Force self. It literally isn't in this movie. So Luke goes to this new Death Star to talk to Darth Vader, and then Darth Vader says like again, "Oh, you can join me." And then Luke says no, so he gets imprisoned. What was your point of going then, Luke? On the Wookiee island, though, the Wookiees and the rest of the group are fighting off stormtroopers to get into like this big, like it's like a room thing that has like a locked door. I don't know. It's kind of boring, and I don't like that part of the movie. So back on the Death Star, Palpatine tries to kill Luke with his lightning fingers, aka just like stands there and like holds out his fingers, and lightning comes out of them because Palpatine is like old and decrepit. That's all he can do. Also, with this, Luke gets like his absolute shit rocked. Like he can barely move, so he can't really fight. And like on the brink of death, Darth Vader comes in and saves him and like takes the hit of the lightning or whatever. And then since Darth Vader was protecting him, he ends up throwing Palpatine into a like power reactor, blows up the ship for one, and also kills Palpatine. Literally up there for 0.5 seconds. Sorry, Palpatine, but not sorry. Also, I forgot to take Jabba off. He's dead. Through protecting Luke, though, Darth Vader took quite the hit of the lightning fingers, and so he is slowly dying. And then Luke takes off his like helmet, and it's like this like burned bald man. They like chat about how they love each other or whatever. But Darth Vader, dead. And then Luke takes his body off of the ship before it like completely blows up. And then they have a funeral for Darth Vader at the Wookiee island, and they like burn his body with the helmet on. So I feel like that's kind of rude. After the funeral, they have like a little party of like saving the galaxy or whatever, because they saved everyone from the dark side for now at least. But I'm not talking about the sequels. So if this is like the canon ending, they save the galaxy forever. And then at the party, Leia tells Han that her and Luke are siblings. So that was good to know. And then Luke sees the Force version of Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Yoda. I guess that's why Obi-Wan was up there. I guess he's there at the end. In the original 70s, 80s versions of the movies, it was the guy who played unmasked version of Darth Vader. That was the Force version of him. But then they edited it later and put Hayden Christensen in there. How I feel about that, because like you changed the movie, but whatever. If you watch it now on Disney Plus, then it's Hayden Christensen, which like he's great to look at. So, which in my notes I literally just did right. I changed it to be Hayden. Like I know him personally. We're on first name basis actually. Anyway, that is all of Star Wars from my brain, and I think it's all correct. So if I got something wrong, tell me, but don't be mean about it, because I know Star Wars fans can get pissed off, which like I love Star Wars. So it's not because I like don't care about the series, it's just because I have a terrible memory. If you are interested in this like style of video, I will be coming out with if there's any crossover between who is watching this video and wants to watch a Lab Rats My Memory video, maybe subscribe to see when it's out, because I'm very excited to film that video. It's already scripted and everything, and guys, I think I'm gonna do a really good job. Thanks for watching.